Today, I want to talk about interrupting in coaching conversations. And I'll start with something absolutely obvious, stating that coaching conversations are different from just our everyday conversation with colleagues, friends, family, and any other communication with other people. Coaching conversations are done as the partnership between a coach and the client to help the coach to get new awareness and help them move forward, help them solve the problems, find solutions, get unstuck, and whatever the goal of the coaching engagement is. And as such, the interruptions in coaching conversations are much rarer than they occur in our everyday conversation. And what's interesting, in our tandem classes, we start with teaching students not to interrupt, not to interrupt at all. And that's somewhat of an extreme take on interruption. However, we do that very conscientiously because we know that we are wired to interrupt. We like interrupting. And that comes from the fact that a lot of conversations, a lot of daily conversations that occur, they occur at a different level of listening. That they occur at what we call level one or internal listening. If you are not trained in listening to your counterpart, there's a chance that you are listening to respond. You are listening not to actually hear what is being said, but to process information that you're getting as soon as possible and respond with your feelings, with your thoughts, with your analysis, rebuttals, or whatever else might go through your mind. So that's level one listening. In coaching conversations, we train our students, and coaches are very well trained to listen at level two and level three. Level two is the focused listening, which is solely focused on the clients and on their communication. And notice the word communication I use. This is not listening. This is beyond listening and hearing. Communication is much more than just words that the client says. It's what client is not saying. It's their emotions, it's their energy, it's how they are saying things, how they behave while they are saying things, how they behave while they are not saying anything. All that comprises communication. And level two listening encompasses all these modalities of communication. And trained coaches pick them up and they use these to help the client move forward. So this level of listening is hard. You got to be trained in that, and you got to put a lot of energy into that. So definitely in daily conversations, you wouldn't be doing that, and there is no reason to be doing that. However, this coaching skill is very useful to bring into your everyday life and become just a better listener, just a better conversationalist, and pay more attention to what people are actually telling you. Secondly, the interruptions in coaching conversations are done primarily for the benefit of the client. Coaches should be very comfortable in the space of not knowing. So I'm not interrupting the client just to tell them what I know on the topic they are talking about. I might not know everything, or I might not know a lot, and that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter to the client, because what matters to the client is anything they are saying, anything the coach hears and reflects back serves the only purpose is to create more awareness to the client and help them move forward towards their goal. So, and as we are comfortable in the space of not knowing, We are also comfortable in the fact that we don't have to come across as subject matter experts. And again, in many cases, we're not as coaches. And where we are, it's hard. And a lot of Agilists who came through tandem coaching, they realized that the hardest coaching conversations, at least at the beginning of their coaching careers, are those around Agile topics, because they know that subject matter and they have experience, and a lot of experience. And it's really hard to hold it back. It's really hard to be comfortable and to be curious and to actually ask a question: what makes this a problem for this client? And the last kind of part that plays into a rarity of coaching interruptions in the conversation is the fact that coach in the conversation is not driving the conversation. Coach is not leading. And it's not the client who responds to the coach or coaching questions. It's the coach who responds to the client communication. So all the coaching questions, they are prompted by the client, they are prompted by the process, and they are designed to help the client to think differently, to think in new ways about themselves and about their situations. So what do you need to have in place to have a good interruption? So we kind of established that, yes, sometimes we need to interrupt, but you have to have an agreement in place. So for example, I myself is somebody who actually hate to be interrupted. I usually don't go on long rants. And when I'm in a coaching conversation as the client, I'm coming to the conversations for the benefit of learning and having this sounding board. And I hate my thinking process to be interrupted. So I prefer to have an agreement with my coach that I'm not going on long rants and he or she does not interrupt me. So in order for you to build rapport and not to lose that rapport real quickly, it would behoove you and your client to set that agreement from the get-go. In the initial session, in the exploratory session, whatever you do to set up your relationship, to ask the client, how would you like to be interrupted? If I see a coaching reason to interrupt you, if I hear something unusual or something that jumped out at me in the moment, may I interrupt you to bring it to your attention? And if so, how would you like to be interrupted? And a lot of clients will just tell you, yeah, just feel free to interrupt me. Just kind of stop me, show me a sign if you are on camera, or just call my name and interrupt me. Feel free to do that. And later in a different video, I will discuss in more details what's a good way of interrupting a client so that you still keep the flow of the conversation, you are still within the process, and you keep rapport with your client.